Hey guys, Liz here from the Nail Hub, and I'm back with Monica Felton, Certified Financial Planner, and we are ready to get into Class 7 today. Welcome back, Monica. Thank you so much for doing this again for
Absolutely.
our final
Yes.
lesson.
Well, as you know, I'm so passionate about financial literacy and helping people understand how money really works. And as we've talked in every one of our classes, these classes are progressive. They build one on top of the other. And really, they do for a reason today. Today, we're going to bring together everything that we've learned. We talked about debt, we've talked about savings, risk, taxes, how we pay for things. And so today, we're going to talk about a concept called the wealth builder strategy, which really takes into account everything we've learned. My goal as an advisor is to teach you how to fish, not to give you a fish. I want you to understand why I'm making the recommendations that I do. That's important. And so I hope you've enjoyed and persevered through the last 6 classes so that we will end today on what I am so passionate about, which is the wealth builder strategy.
And I have to say, we've gotten such really good comments and questions from everyone thus far. So I really
Yeah.
appreciate all of those of you who have been engaging with us and participating in this and really trying to get the most out of everything that we're offering. And on that note, I wanted to remind everyone that we are doing a giveaway, which is going to
Yeah.
include a one-on-one session with Monica. So if you're interested in entering that giveaway, all you have to do is hit that link right below this video in the description section. Click on the title of the video. If you're on mobile, it'll expand. You'll be able to see that URL and very simply enter your email address and a few questions about yourself. And we will enter you in that giveaway that we're going to do the drawing for after we round out this entire course in our office hours. But Monica, without further ado, I'll let you get into today's lesson.
Great. Let's go. As I mentioned, the last 6 classes, we've really talked about saving. And last week, we talked about spending, how we pay for things. Because remember, you're going to have so much money flow through your fingertips over your lifetime. And any dollar not saved is gone, never to be enjoyed again. So, is there a more efficient way to pay for life's big expenses? Yes, and it's called the wealth builder strategy. So last week we talked about the 3 ways to pay. We're all very familiar with going into debt. You can pay cash or spend down an asset. And then there's the wealth builder strategy. And if you recall, this is financial zero. It means you owe nothing, but you own nothing. So when we go into debt, it means we don't have the money. So we have to borrow it from someone else and then we pay it back, borrow and pay it back. And you can see if we do that through our lifetime, by the time we get into retirement, we're still at zero. Well, the paying cash, it's a little bit better because instead of paying interest to somebody else, we actually earn interest. So we save the money at interest. But then when we go to buy something, we give it all away, going back to financial zero. Again, if we do this all through our lifetimes, we're no better off. So the wealth builder strategy is a strategy that's been around for over 100 years, and it's where we actually save the money. But instead of going to financial zero, what we do is we borrow against the asset. Our money continues moving forward. We never lose the forward momentum of compounding interest. And then we use this money along the way. We never interrupt the compounding curve, which really allows us to be in a significantly better position than if we go into debt or pay cash. Now, the wealth builder strategy, it's just a strategy, but it does require a vehicle. It does require some time and discipline, but ultimately it will lead to freedom. Now, who are some wealth builders in this country? Your banks. All of the banks, well, I shouldn't say all, 70% of US banks actually own this vehicle. This vehicle is what's called a properly structured whole life insurance contract. Banks, it's called bank-owned life insurance, but it's exactly the same thing that you and I have access to. So 70% of the banks are implementing the Wealth Builder strategy. And you might recognize a few of these faces. These are very wealthy individuals. Walt Disney had a whole life insurance contract that he started Disney on. You know why? Because no banks would lend him any money. So he used his life insurance policy to create or start Walt Disney World, actually to create his little mouse. McDonald's, Ray Kroc also used life insurance. So again, this has been around for a long time. It's unfortunate, though, that you and I, the individual people, don't know about it. So the Wealth Builder strategy vehicle is, again, it's a properly structured, dividend-paying whole life insurance policy from a mutual life insurance company. Now, whole life, friends, it's been around for 200 years. This isn't new. By the way, the stock market has only been inception for maybe 100 and maybe 25 years. So it's older than the stock market. The way we engineer these products is that you provide a significant living benefit, and it's not just used for the death benefit. Banks own more whole life insurance than they do real estate, land, and buildings combined. And these products are owned by very wealthy people. So what is this? So it's properly structured in that it's engineered correctly, right? So there is a very specific and important way to create this whole life policy to meet an individual's specific needs. Dividend paying, what that means is that each policy holder actually receives dividends. A mutual life insurance company is important because mutual means that you and I are the policy holders. So those that have a policy are actually owners. So we are owners in the company. Now, when we have cash value in a properly structured dividend-paying whole life insurance policy, we have guarantees. The cash value is guaranteed at 4%. You also earn that dividend. A dividend is a return of profitability from the life insurance company. It is not guaranteed, but has been paid for over 120 years. The total return right now is sitting at about 6% interest. Now that can vary, but depending on the mutual life insurance company that you choose, my preference is Mass Mutual. They are offering currently a 6% dividend. The money inside your policy is growing uninterrupted, compounding every single year. There is no loss in this. You can access your money to do whatever you want. Remember 401ks and qualified plans, we talked about those. Those are not liquid. Those you can only use for retirement. You can access them at 59 and a half, but if you do it before, then there's penalties. So this money is accessible to buy business equipment, to pay for a car, to pay for college, braces for your child, or, and I laughingly say this, but you could even go to Vegas with the money. You are in complete control of this. Now, the other interesting thing about a whole life policy is the money grows tax deferred. And if you withdraw the money in the form of a loan or access the money in the form of a loan, it's completely invisible to the US government legally. So we can get distributions out of these policies invisible to the US government for income tax purposes. And then there's also a death benefit. What that means is that in the event that you're not here, your family will get a benefit tax-free to, help with varying things because you are no longer there to provide an income. So this is how the process works. You contribute to a whole life insurance policy in the form of deposits or what we call premiums. You write the insurance company a premium check. You write that premium into your properly structured whole life insurance policy, and then it looks like cash value. The cash value has all of these benefits: guaranteed dividends, uninterrupted compounding, liquid, you control it, tax-free, and the death benefit. Now, we will need to use the money to buy stuff. So when the time comes to pay for a large expense like a car, like a business, like college for your kids, you will go to the mutual life insurance company. They will look inside of your properly structured whole life and determine how much cash you have. The life insurance company is going to give you a loan. If the life insurance company gives you their money, that means that your money is continuing to grow, compounding, uninterrupted at interest. But remember, you do have a loan or a liability with the life insurance company. Now, they're going to charge you money. They're not benevolent, right? They're going to charge you interest. So in this example, the mutual life insurance company is charging 5% on the loan, but your money, your cash value is earning 6%. So you can see there's a positive difference. My money is growing at a greater rate than what I'm paying to borrow the money. Now, your loan with the life insurance company is very flexible. You can pay that interest only. You can pay it in structured payments. You can pay in lump sums, or you can never pay that loan back. And the reason is because recall, there is a death benefit. You will die at some point. And if you have a loan with a life insurance company, what happens is the death benefit will pay the loan off first, and then the rest will go to your estate income tax free. So the life insurance company, they're okay to lend out their money because they know that you have a loan at interest that will ultimately be taken care of at your death. So you're really the best risk possible. Now, to compare traditional financial planning saving with a wealth builder strategy saving, I've given you two examples. This entire class, we've been talking about saving $500 a month or $6,000 a year. So if I was using traditional financial planning and I was putting it in the stock market, or even if I was putting it in a CD or something like that, I would put $6,000 in, and at the end of the year, my balance would be $6,000, right? And then each year I contributed, my balance would grow. Now remember, we talked about market risk. Your money can go up and your money can go down depending on where it's at. For our purposes, I just had this money growing at 5%. Now, when the time comes and I need the money for something, I'm going to have to withdraw $10,000. What does that do? It reduces my account balance. And if I do this over the next 20 years, you'll see I have 10 years of payments. Now I have 20 years here. If I withdrew $10,000 basically every 4 years, by the time I'm 49 years old, my account value would be about $95,000. Now, conversely, if I use the wealth builder strategy and I put my money into a properly structured whole life insurance policy, if I put $6,000 in the first year, please know, I want you to see this. Your money is less. You do not have access to every dollar right away. That's one of the drawbacks of a properly structured whole life policy, is you don't get access to every dollar right away. This is where patience comes in. You have not lost your money, you just don't have access to it. Now, what you will have that you don't have in traditional planning is you'll have a death benefit. And what that means is that if you die prematurely, your family estate is going to get $292,780. So if you gave the life insurance company $6,000 and walked out and got hit by a bus tomorrow, your family would get almost $300,000 of tax-free money. Now, we don't want to die the next day, and that's not why we're doing this. But this death benefit is very important. Because of this death benefit, we get all these tax benefits in whole life insurance. That's why the death benefit is necessary. All right, so just like traditional, after 4 years, right, I'm going to borrow $10,000 from the life insurance company because I have to go buy something. Now, what I want you to see is my value did not go down. Because remember, the money in my account continues to grow, compounding every single year, even though I have this loan against the cash value. Right now, this is a liability that will need to be taken care of over time. Like I said, if you don't pay it back, the death benefit would pay the loan off first, and then the rest would go to your estate. But nonetheless, your cash value continues to grow, compounding every single year. So at the end of 20 years, I don't have $92,000. I have $159,000. And my death benefit has grown to $416,000. So I have more money and more benefits. Now, I've done a side-by-side comparison so you can see what's happening. So if I pay cash or I do the wealth builder strategy, the contributions over 20 years are the same. I've contributed $120,000. But over that 20-year time frame, I had expenses in both of $40,000. So my value at 50 years old was $95,600 in the traditional planning. With the wealth builder, it's $160,000. Now let's go out another 15 more years. So at 65 years, right? If my money was invested in the stock market, I'd have about $128,000. Remember, the market goes up and the market goes down. But if I was in this guaranteed, simple, whole life insurance policy, I would have $367,000, and I would have a death benefit to protect my family along the way of $643,000. Now, if I invest in the market, I'm going to have risk. If I invest in whole life insurance, which isn't investing, it's really saving, then I have no risk at all. So by learning to be a wealth creator in the time, or by the time I get into retirement at 65, I have $240,000 more dollars with no risk, and I have more benefits. This is the power of being a wealth creator. If poor people would just do what rich people do, they wouldn't be poor anymore. I love that Warren Buffett saying, because we all can be wealth builders. It doesn't take $50,000 a year. What it takes is around $500 a month. We even can do less than that. But again, every person is different. And the goal is to create a bucket of money that you own and control, that you have access to all through your life, to buy all the things that you need to buy and still have money in retirement. So after 7 classes and learning all about how money works, where the wealth builder strategy or that properly structured life insurance would go here in the safe tank. So what you would do is you would earn your income. You do have to pay taxes on the money. You have to pay taxes. After you pay taxes, you deposit it into the properly structured whole life in the form of a premium payment. When the time comes to access your money, you go to the life insurance company and you will borrow against the policy, right? Your money continues to grow, compounding. You're not withdrawing it. You're using it as collateral. And the life insurance company is going to give you the borrowed funds. You're going to use that money to hopefully buy important, necessary things. But what you'll see is this is a much better way to pay for things. Your account will continue to grow compounding at 6%. Yes, you are going to pay interest on the loan that you've borrowed from the life insurance company, but this positive spread of 1% is how you get ahead. This is what corporations, banks, and wealthy people are doing. And this is what I want all of you to learn how to do as well.
So, very powerful information, obviously. I wanted to also say that this is something that I learned about probably about 10 years ago, even well before I met Monica. And I started learning about all of these different options that are available out there that we aren't traditionally taught about or educated about. And even me, myself, I'm always one of those people where if I'm going to suggest something or if I'm going to teach about something or if I'm going to involve other people and collaborate with people, this is also something that I personally do. And it has really helped me prepare for my future. So I just wanted to add that, Monica, just so people realize that even me, I am someone who also has started doing this. And both my husband and I, my parents, everybody I can get my hands on, I always talk about this because the younger you are, the easier it is to get started. But
Yes.
even me almost approaching 40, I mean, it's never too late to start. And my mom in her 60s started. So I just wanted to kind of put that little, anecdote out there that this is definitely something that anybody can take advantage of. And there aren't any real barriers to entry.
No, and I'm in full agreement. I put policies in place for people who are 65. I actually just put a policy in place for a 70-year-old. So the only limitation to a properly structured whole life insurance policy is health, right? Because it is a life insurance contract. So we do have to be healthy to have those implemented on us. But in the event that you're what we call uninsurable or you're not healthy, we can use a spouse, we can use children. So there are insurable interests out there if you are not a candidate because you're not healthy enough for the life insurance. Yeah. So remember, there's nothing more powerful than compounding interest, uninterrupted compounding interest. I'm working with someone now who's 25 and is going to put $500 a month away for the next 30 years. He will have more than enough money to retire off of because of the power of compounding interest. But remember, using the wealth builder, he can access that money all through his life because at 25, how many things do you think he's going to buy? The number of cars he's going to buy, for his children, braces, college. So our whole life insurance money has multiple purposes. That's why it's a term called infinite banking. We become infinite bankers because there's infinite possibilities in what we can do. And as Liz said, I've been her and Herman's coach now for many years, helping them with the infinite possibilities of how to use their whole life policies to create more wealth. And that's what the strategy is really about.
And also, you bring up an amazing point, which is, a lot of people out there probably have 401ks or, for example, SEP IRAs if you're self-employed, things of that nature. And one of the big disadvantages of those is not only the risk that we talked about in a previous class with the market going up and down and having to really have that long-term strategy, but the biggest downside is that you cannot access that money until you're well into your 50s. So that is something that I found was a huge benefit with these kind of instruments is that you have access to your money. Again, the fact that you showed, hey, you're not going to get access to every single dime right after you do your first payment. But well after your third year of investing in this, you're going to have access to all of your money and then some at any time that you want it without any questions asked either. And that was one of the other things that I really loved about this when I started getting into it was it doesn't matter if I want to use my money to go to Vegas or I want to invest it in my business. The whole life insurance company does not ask me what I'm using the money for. They just send me a check when I ask for it. So having that power over the place that I have put my money, knowing that it's safe, knowing that it's growing, but also having that freedom to do with it as I please is huge and is something that I have
Absolutely.
not found in any other financial instrument that I have ever investigated.
That's right. And ownership, we talk about liquidity, use, and control. Control is important. And so, again, just following up on 401ks and IRAs and SEP IRAs, those are government savings plans. They get to do with those what they want, and they can change the rules on them anytime. Anytime. Whereas a properly structured whole life insurance contract is a contract between you and the life insurance company. So you are the owner of that. You get to make the rules of how, what you want to do with those policies. And in a difficult situation, having access to capital, liquidity is so important. I can't tell you how powerful that is. I will tell you it is far more important than rate of return. Access to capital is paramount with financial freedom.
Yeah. And knowing that even when you do draw on that and when you do need your money, you're not hitting that zero again and having to start
No,
over,
right,
right? That is,
right.
I mean, the draining your bank account is one thing, but this is something that's completely different. And I'm not going to lie. I mean, when I first started investigating this information, my husband was the first one to kind of start investigating these
Right.
things. It took me a while to wrap my brain around, and I'm sure a lot of people
Yeah.
are going to have that experience here, as they
Yes.
go through this lesson and as they investigate this more, because this is, again, it's not something that is in our normal circle of
Right.
knowledge. It's not something that we're taught as we grow up. And when you mention something, even the words life insurance, people immediately think of something
Oh,
very
yeah.
specific. But I do want to make it very clear that this is, and you mentioned it many times, but I wanted to hit home on it one more time, which is this is not an actual term life insurance or some kind of regular life insurance. It has to be very properly structured by a knowledgeable insurance agent who is understanding of these types of instruments. Because if you just go out and you find any type of insurance agent and you ask them for this kind of thing, a lot of them will not know what it is, or they will set you
Yeah.
up with something that is not properly structured. So it is a
Right.
very specific thing you have to ask for, but it's also cool all the benefits that it provides. And also, me, one of the things that really sold me more than the savings and more than the retirement was just knowing that if anything ever happened to me, there would be so much money left over for anyone who survived me, and they would never have to worry about anything. So
Right.
I cannot talk positively enough about this. And it's just such a cool thing that unfortunately is such a well kept secret.
Yeah.
But once you know about it, I mean, it's very powerful.
Right. And I just want to say, uh, again, it is important. So there's a reason why I'm a certified financial planner. There's a reason why, I am a registered investment advisory firm. I understand all asset classes. I have access to all of them. But because of what I know, life insurance properly structured is the foundation in which all of my clients, that is their foundational wealth. And then from the life insurance, we can buy mutual funds, real estate, pay for businesses, etc. But you have to put your money someplace. And so for me, my clients, every one of my clients, their foundation is properly structured whole life insurance. And I think if you don't have an understanding, if you're not working with an advisor that has a complete understanding of all the financial tools out there, you will be at a significant disadvantage. So I would encourage you, when you're doing your research, you want to make sure that you have an advisor that's all encompassing to help you with all aspects of where to save your money. Remember, class 2, 3, and 4 was about other places to put your money, right? So I want you to understand all those pieces. But once you do understand all of them, you realize why we choose this life insurance to be our foundation to build the wealth.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just brings to mind, I remember reading through the comments on these classes that we've done together, and we are going to be doing office hours coming up
Yep.
next. So Monica and I have consolidated all of your guys' questions, and we are going to be responding to those together in another video. But Monica, also, I wanted to add on just a funny comment that was posted, and it just made me think of how this all plays together, which is someone commented, why is it that the rich don't pay any taxes? And it's interesting because at first, it's one of those things that we hear a lot. It's something that is said in order to kind of differentiate groups of people and kind of make people feel like they're getting shortchanged, or that, someone's not having to take on as much responsibility as someone else. And it's a loaded question, or it's a loaded comment. But one of the things that I think is really interesting is it's not that rich people don't pay any taxes, because if you look up, for example, people like Elon Musk, or, the richest people in the world, they do pay tax, and they pay a lot of money. But if you think about the instruments that those people are utilizing to make their tax paying efficient, that is really the big difference. People might put that into a little, check the box kind of statement as to, the rich never pay tax. And it's funny because the definition of rich is always changing. But I do want to just put that out there, which is, it's not so much that people aren't paying tax. It's just like your personal economic model with the tanks. If you make, everybody's going to pay tax, everybody's going to have to go through these things, everybody needs retirement, everybody needs savings. It's about, are you doing it efficiently? Are you actually doing it in a way that makes sense for a long-term strategy? Or are you just letting money slip through your fingers every time that happens? And I just wanted to kind of throw that in there again as just another little anecdote. And maybe you have your own thoughts on it as well, because I do think that this is really an eye-opener as to how that kind of statement can be made, because it is true, right? Wealthy people are usually more aware of these types of instruments, just like you showed Warren Buffett and all of that. And it's not that they're not paying tax, it just is that they're paying tax efficiently and their money is working for them.
That's exactly right. So first off, in this country, well, most people, if you don't pay taxes, you go to jail, right? The government's very persnickety. They want their money. But what I want people to understand is you don't have to overpay taxes. And I think that's what the wealthy understand. They're not overpaying taxes. They try to minimize their taxes as much as they can. And they understand strategies in vehicles and investment opportunities. And they put their money in places where they pay tax once and never again. How smart is that? A brokerage account, I get to pay tax on the same money over and over and over and over again. In properly structured whole life insurance, I pay tax once and never again. That seems pretty smart to me. So again, I think it's about getting efficient with the money that you have. Let's not get stuck on who's wealthy and who's not wealthy. We all come to the table with our own economic situation, right? And the goal of every person should be to make your specific situation as efficient as possible, so you get to keep as much of your money as possible and you get to provide the benefits to you and your loved ones. That's the goal. That's what we're shooting for. Every time I meet with a client, that's the goal.
Yep. I love that. And I really thank you for sharing all this information, because it is just so, so powerful and so amazing. And we're putting it out there on a very public forum that I hope is really going to get more people to know about this and be aware of it, because it is such a cool thing. It's just, it's an absolute shame that is not more publicly known about.
Right. And, we talked about this earlier. There's so much misinformation and downright lies. We have more information today, or data, should I say, than we've ever had before. So it's really hard to cycle through what's true and what's lies. And that's why Liz and I have spent 7 classes helping you understand the truth from the lies. We know this works. I've been doing this for 15 years. I've been helping families. I have multiple policies. My kids have policies. My husband has policies. All my family members have policies, because this is how you create wealth and opportunity for the future.
100%. Well, thank you for everything you've shared today, Monica.
My
pleasure. Everyone who's watching, please leave comments below these videos. Again, you can send us questions if you'd like to ask anything privately. Send an email to support@thenailhub.com. Monica and I are reviewing any of those questions and comments that you guys send in through both avenues. And as I mentioned, we will be doing office hours coming up next, and we will be answering all the questions that we have gotten thus far. And one more reminder, if you do want to be entered to get a free one-on-one session with Monica, please do not miss out on that opportunity. All you have to do is sign up via the link in the description of this video. We are just simply collecting your email address, your name, and a few questions that will help Monica understand where you're at. All of that information is completely private and is used only for the giveaway purposes. And we will also be sharing more information about how you can work with Monica if you would like to. Completely optional, but I always like promoting people that I know are good at what they do. And Monica is definitely one of those experts that I would love to share with all of you. So if you're interested in that, we will absolutely have all of that information available for you. But we will be in touch again on our next video for office hours. And thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks, Monica.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.